Ladies and gentlemen, John McAfee is a scam and a fraud, and I have proof. Now, this is a very serious piece of investigative journalism. This video will probably get more thumbs down than likes for a lot of reasons. I think a lot of people at this point are so infatuated with John McAfee that they don't care. Now, John McAfee has recently become a huge advisor when it comes to cryptocurrency. He tweets out about all these different coins and ICOs almost on a daily basis. Obviously, because he was the founder of McAfee antivirus and security. He sold his company in the 90s, I believe is when he sold it. He is now in his 70s. But anyway, he has a verified Twitter account. He has hundreds of thousands of followers. He now and then talks about cryptocurrency on CNBC, NBC, or whatever. So he carries weight, okay? It carries weight. Then the worst part of this whole thing, this debacle, is that John McAfee, a lot of people think is a billionaire. He's not. He actually only had 100 million, was hit hard during the housing crash. So nobody knows really how much money he has. Probably not a whole lot. So, but people have this idea that he's this billionaire guy. So he obviously has, if he's talking about these picks, like promotes Verge or other coins like Safex, then obviously he has no vested interest. Like, he's not being bought because he can't be bought. He's wealthy. And by listening to his advice, you'll become wealthy too. Well, if you're thinking that he's a pump and dumper, it's worse. It's far, far worse. So let me just jump into real quick what first made me suspicious of Mr. John McAfee. And it was when Safex, the Safe Exchange coin, was delisted from Bittrex. It was still carried on Cryptopia, but right as it was delisted, Mr. John tweeted out that all of his money, like all of his investments in cryptocurrency, were held in Safex. That to me was extremely peculiar. Now, like 6 months ago, I was one of the people, well, actually, I was the first person to really discover Safex and promote it. From a $10,000 daily volume, it went up into the millions. It has grown incredibly. A few months after I discovered it and talked about it, it kept missing dates. They kept missing dates for a wallet release and other things. So I just decided that I wasn't like it. So I jumped ship, I sold, and I told everyone on Slack, I told everybody, I'm out of Safex. For some reason, still people ask me about Safex, but I made it very clear. And I got a lot of backlash because I abandoned it. But it's the truth, and I had to say it. I mean, I lost my confidence in them. Now, months later, as it's literally sinking, it's done. Safex is done. Getting delisted off Bittrex is a huge deal. Then McAfee says he has all of his money in Safex. So obviously, everybody runs out and buy millions and millions and millions of dollars worth of Safex from Cryptopia. Right as it crashes, Cryptopia literally pulls it too. They're not on any exchange. Yeah, there's promises that they'll get back on some exchange, but in this moment, if you had bought all of that Safex, you have nothing. You literally have nothing. You cannot sell your Safex unless you find another individual to buy it from you, but there's no exchange in which you can sell it. This is bad. This is bad. There's a million reasons why Cryptopia at least would have kept Safex. They had a lot of volume they had a lot of volume that was on Bittrex that they would have absorbed, but they delisted it too. There's no real official answer. There's no very specific. There's a lot of rumors going around, things are being said. No one's been very specific on why it was delisted. Some people said that there was this dividends issue. That's a lie. A lot of coins out there that are proof of work, or proof of stake, that is. Pay out dividends, like Neo gives gas, Stratus gives out. I mean, there's tons of coins that do that. If you hold your coins on exchange, you just don't get that. You have to hold an offline wallet to receive those dividends, if you want to call them that. So that whole mess was just, it was just smoke being blown up investors' asses, because literally there was no dividends payments. They were talking about doing it in the future, and that was just Dan just tweeting out some stuff. So anyway, the truth is that no coin thus far that has been delisted from all major exchanges and gets to the point where it has no exchanges to where they're traded ever has in the history of cryptocurrency come back. If that's not enough for you. Now, I know if you're holding the bag now and you have all these Safex coins on an offline wallet and you're just hoping that someday, I get it, that this news might be a shock to you. You might not like it, but that's the truth. So anyway, getting back to the point. This, I find it alarming. I find it senseless. Why would McAfee, an experienced entrepreneur, investor, throw all of his money into a project like Safex, which has nothing to show for it? They now have an offline wallet for the coins, but nothing else has been done. It's all smoke. There's nothing tangible. And it's been months. Safex has been around maybe a year or more, and they just haven't really put anything together. So why would he? I'll tell you why. Because he was paid to. He was paid to promote Safex. I have a tweet, and I'll post this tweet from a friend of mine who inquired, sent McAfee a message, immediately got a reply. And this is happening to a bunch of people that have messaged McAfee. He offers to promote any coin for 25 Bitcoin up front and then 15% of the profits. This is on his verified Twitter account. Now, this is reported everywhere. A lot of people have had the same reply. It's just a copy and paste reply. I doubt he ever does any type of due diligence. So this is worse than if he was just pumping coins, random coins, for his own profit. He literally does no due diligence on these coins, because if not, he would have seen Safex was getting delisted. Like, literally, Safex people literally bought these coins and weren't able to sell them. That's 100% loss. That's not a coin that's going up that may go down. This is literally ripping people off, and he didn't care. So why is this alarming? Because I'm making this video because I saw another video that had over 100,000 likes, views, whatever you want to call it, on YouTube. It said John McAfee is going to make us all rich, and is holding this man to the level of a god when he's just accepting payment to promote ICOs and shitcoins. This is not even like, okay, I believe in the project, I'm going to promote it, it's going to go up, and then maybe it'll go to the moon. Like, he believes in the project. No, he's literally taking payment. That means that as long as you pay him, he'll promote these nuts coin and decentralized testicles. Like, whatever the project is, he doesn't care. He does not care. This comes at a time when I had read an article about John, how he had recently, or a year ago, whatever, he had married a hooker that he met in Miami. And at first I was like, what is this, Pretty Woman? I was a little confused. I saw a picture of this a little bit overweight, obesely, insomma, this is a fat hooker we're talking about here. Anyway, there's a picture of this fat hooker on his boat. So when I saw this picture, at first it was heartwarming, because I'm like, that's so awesome. Because normally you have all these rich guys that marries 20-year-old bimbos, blonde bimbos with fake boobs. So I'm like, if he married this woman, obviously they got love. There's something that bonds them together. They obviously care about each other. So how refreshing, how heartwarming. Then I continue the article. I'm like, oh, she was a prostitute. I'm like, well, maybe she's an entrepreneur. Whatever. I'm like, well, they actually got married. That's like, well, it is what it is. Then you hear about these, somebody tried to kill John McAfee. There was a plot to kill John McAfee. I was reading on, and I continue reading the article. Comes out, the reason it was stopped, it wasn't that he intervened or something like that. Like, the wife told him that she had started this thing up. Yeah, apparently, you guys ever seen Idiocracy, or whatever, about the guy and that prostitute that travel into the future, and then the pimp travels into the future to slap her? This is what happened. She contacted her pimp, and her pimp made a ploy to kill John, so that because they were married now, so she would get the money, and the pimp would get his cut. Like, this pimp don't give up. Well, she actually reached out to him. Her reason for letting John know that this plot was forming was literal, verbatim. She states, not that she cared about him, not that she didn't want him to die, but that she thought that if he was killed, questions would arise about her. People would point the finger at her, and she would be under suspicion for good reason. That's why she stopped the plot, because in the end, she's living in the lap of luxury. At this point, she's living rich. She's living the dream. So why do this whole plot? Obviously, the pimp had to do with it. That's amazing to me. And then in the interview, it even says, like, she doesn't say, I love you. They said, well, do you love each other? She says, well, I wouldn't call it love. I care about him. I'm like, really? You just hit the lotto, lady. You were selling on the side of the street in Miami, and one day you're married to John McAfee. You can't even tell the poor old bastard that you love him. You actually contact your pimp while you're married and get this whole plot going. I mean, this is the level of absurdity going on with these people. This would make a really good reality TV show. I could just picture it. You know, the lady, she wakes up, she goes in, John's cooking breakfast. She's like, you got my breakfast ready, bitch? Like, it would be some twisted type of relationship. As a matter of fact, she's probably running that Twitter. You guys think that John is there doing research, you know, being a futurist. Probably he's got a whole, like, 40 TVs up on the wall, charts everywhere. Ma que dite. He's in there making breakfast while his big fat ex-prostituting wife is over there putting out fucking pics. And you guys are eating it up. This is craziness. It is craziness to me that it's got to this point. I think it's very dangerous because this guy is not a nobody. It's John McAfee. People listen to when John McAfee says, you know what, I like this project. And thousands and thousands and thousands of people bought Safex after it was delisted from Bittrex and only available on Cryptopia because John McAfee said everything he had was in Safex. And the whole thing, boom. Now you're stuck holding the bag, literally. The price didn't just tank and you only pull out 50% of your investment. No, it literally is done. You bought a coin you can't sell. Because he didn't care. He didn't care. 25 BCT and he'll promote your coin. If you guys are interested, go ahead. Rumor has it he even pushed FutureNet. I'm like, man, he'll tweet anything. Somebody from BitConnect, please give this man 25 Bitcoin. He'll shoot out a referral link. This is getting absurd. It's getting absurd. And then you see a video on YouTube saying McAfee gonna make us all rich. Ma che dite? Ma che dite? Like, the minimum you can do is maybe buy in as soon as. But what are you gonna do? You're waiting all day and night on your knees, looking at John's Twitter, waiting for his wife to tweet out a pic. I'm sorry. It's absurd. It's absurd. All of this absurdity with Verge. Like, I know a lot of people are making a lot of money on Verge. I like Verge. But this is not a normal rise. This is a huge pump. The problem with Verge is it controlled all by one man. They never talk about that. Yeah, the guy who created Verge for the longest time was running the whole show by himself. He controls everything. Now that it's gone up 300% or something, maybe he hired a couple of goons. But that was the major issue with Verge. I even talked about it in one of my videos where I predicted Verge would rise close to $1 by the end of 2017. But I said the big worry is that it's all controlled by one man in his mom's basement. Literally, like really. There's one dude in the basement made this coin. He has some good ideas to put it together and everything, but it's nothing crazy special. You know, it's not Monero. There's better, I mean, there are features on Verge that I really like. And if you got in early on that pump, you probably made a lot of money. But you have to look at it and realize that it was paid. When things are paid like that, it's just dangerous. That means it doesn't matter if it's a good project, bad project. This is just paid. And people think McAfee has so much money. Obviously, he can't be bought. These must be real pics. This is stuff that he believes in. But it's all a facade. This is nothing that he believes in. It's just shocking to me. Because sometimes, you know, I do picks. And I get some heat sometimes saying, oh, yeah, you know, why are you picking that coin? It's like, no, I believe in it. I put my money where my mouth is. Nobody buys me. I get it. Nobody could offer me money for me to shell out a coin. Especially knowing that it's getting delisted. Not doing any due diligence. Knowing that this is going to absolutely 100% lose people money. Because once he tweeted out Safex, the only people made money were the people trying to sell their coins because they knew it was getting delisted. So what's next is what I ask myself. I just hope that you guys heed my warning with this John McAfee, because there's hundreds of thousands, if not millions of people that are noobs in cryptocurrency that are out there listening to this guy like he's spewing the gospel. But it's just sponsored content. Hai capito? This stuff should say on it. Normally, if he was doing this with stocks, he would be in jail. This would be illegal to do, except that it's cryptocurrency and it's unregulated. I'm not saying it should be illegal. I'm not saying it shouldn't. I'm saying normally, if you literally are talking about a coin or saying, hey, everything I have in this coin is in this coin. No, all the money I have is in this project. And that's a bold-faced lie. And it's literally a commercial, a sponsored tweet. It should say some disclaimer, like it should say, I was paid to promote this. This is sponsored content. But this guy is a Mongol in the industry. And that's why it makes it so dangerous. And I just don't want people to lose money. I don't want people to get in a situation to kid themselves. He promotes a coin, he tweets out, it's probably his wife. Boom, 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 boom. I'm telling you, that's a reality TV show. That's a reality TV show. I'm telling you. Maron. How does it get this bad? I feel for the guy. But I think there's some weird stuff going on with John. I think he's probably on drugs. He's in his 70s, so he's back from the crack era. He's probably, I bet you anything, this guy smokes a shit ton of crack. That's how you get in with the whole prostitute situation. Because you don't just, you go and you see his wife. That's not the go-to prostitute, okay? That's not South Beach, Miami prostitute. That's like, behind the gas station, drinking a 40, smoking some crack. Kind of, hey, that's how they bonded. I bet you anything they bonded over a rock of crack. You're taking investing advice from these people. And the first thing you need to realize is this whole myth, John McAfee, this guy, he's not balling. If he was balling, let me tell you something, okay? When you make a little money and you don't have to worry about money, the only thing at that point you really care about is your legacy. It's your reputation. It's how you're going to be remembered. What are you leaving behind? And you don't want to compromise that. If you already have money, you're not going to compromise your reputation just for the hell of it. Unless you're struggling financially. This guy, he's not making ends meet. I capito. And he's willing to compromise his reputation, his legacy, over it. Maybe over his crack habit. I don't know. Probably. Mark my words, it doesn't take a genius to put two and two together and see this. They're hitting the old pipe. Madonna. If I could be a fly on the wall at their place, can you imagine? I'm telling you, it's good television. It would be great television. It would be amazing. I'm telling you, I think he's the bitch of the house. I'm telling you. To have a chick literally have an interview say that she doesn't love you and you married her, and she put a plot to kill you but then changed her mind because thought she might get in trouble for it. Yeah, dude. You're not wearing the pants in that house. That's all I have, guys. You look into it more. Just be warned.